You know, since Mr. DUMA BOKO, the new president of Botswana, was deployed, many people have been congratulating him, many people have been speaking. But the only person who I was anticipating his comment about this was Tabane. I couldn't wait. And thank God I didn't wait long enough. He finally spoke. And this was a rant. He was ranting. And trust me, you don't want to find out what this man was saying, because you're going to be shocked. You're going to be very shocked, and you're going to wonder, is it really this guy who is saying this? But it is what it is. I'm going to play a clip for you. You're going to hear Tabane's comments and what he thinks about the new president, Mr. BOKO of Botswana. Here you go.
Now, when I say Botswana is shown the way, I don't mean just suddenly. You'd remember that a couple of years ago, when Zimbabwe was in true shambles and people were being oppressed there, opposition parties, were being chased away, people were being jailed for their views, SADC people kept quiet, man. Even here at home, somebody, we respect so much, Tabane came up with a concocted view of how to deal with oppression. And said, no, it's quiet diplomacy. If you shout, they're not going to hear. But they didn't hear anyway. And Botswana was one of the first countries that said to Zimbabwe, stop your nonsense. Botswana, what of all this? I'm sure we're not here together. Botswana, hey, we can't be drinking tea with you. Stop what you are doing to your people. And Botswana started to show the way there. But now they've shown the way at home, where a party that's been in power for decades, man. I mean, it's just a one-party state, to say the least. The party that's been in power for decades was shown the door. And it's interesting that, people like the ANC at home, the RE doesn't befall their words. But no, congratulations to Botswana, they've accepted the results. But the RE doesn't befall them. In ANC speak, if you are a student and you get 40%, upasi. Keep passing over. Now, they are going around as if they didn't lose elections. That's why you shouldn't be surprised when they say kids can pass at 30 and pass matric at 30. How do you pass matric at 30 and 40? But what's worse, if you get 49, you're at university, but so another chance to write. This guy's got 40, go 40 who failed. It's a fail. But they go into negotiations and get a distinction. How does that happen? You got 40% of the vote, but you got 75% of the cabinet. Or you got a fail, and then the results there will create a distinction. No. RN doesn't befall them. Hey, congratulations to Botswana. Hey. No. You got to be out. When you are at 40, you must be in the opposition benches, not concoct some governance regime that will give you a sense that you have won elections when you have not. Anyway, Botswana leads the way. You would remember that last year, the outgoing government started to talk to De Beers and say, hey, man, we need those minerals for the people of Botswana. It's miles away from what the ANC has tried to do here with the mining charter, a very poor draft of a mining charter. But let me tell you, in 2003, the Minister of Minerals at that point was Mepumzile Mlambo Mnuka. There was a draft of the mining charter that suggested that 50% of the minerals must go to black people who are the owners of this land. Hey, I can tell you now, what happened after that was a 50 billion rand, capital flight. That's how scared of change the white monopoly capital is. Hey, but what's our change about to war? I don't know what. How can blacks own 50%? These are people who are 90% of the population. But they couldn't fathom that these people can own 50% of their own minerals. There was a capital flight, and of course the government went straight back into its hole and come up with something. I think they said 26% or whatever. Even that, they still rejected it. They came up with something called the royalty bill, which was another backdoor way of coming back to that charter, that was again rejected. So Botswana has led the way again by saying to the bears, no, come, let's talk about the proper sharing of this wealth. And I hope that the new government will follow through on that particular project to make sure that the people of Botswana can actually enjoy the minerals of that country. We shouldn't have this thing where particularly international, multinationals and so come there, and when you talk to them about indigenization, no, you must partner with locals, but no, we are going to leave, we are going to pull out our investments, and I'm going to make a dedicated show where I just expose these multinationals. But they are going up and down. And they go and they concoct deals which make them bypass BEE, bypass even the poor substitute called equity equivalent. But Botswana has led the way, not with our minerals. I want to commend the people of Botswana for that song was saying, Botswana ba ema, with new ideas, fresh ideas, man, with just freshness about it. The liberation movements, they are tired. Once you are in the trenches and it's understandable that you are tired. They want to be chased away from office by their people, instead of realizing that, even if you are a fantastic dancer, you got to exit the stage. Man. So re tla re fela fo batho ba Botswana mo gala makapa ra lebogisa. Mara kwa America they did the opposite. Wa bona ho electa motho to be president of a country, especially if it's direct election. You are saying this person represents the best parts of us. Is our best foot forward. I don't understand. I wonder if you had this notion of American dream and so on, that's the best place to be and whatever. After you see what they've chosen as their best foot forward, I hope you'll change your mind. I hope you will truly change your mind. When a whole nation chooses somebody who's so sexist, so racist, so xenophobic, all the terrible parts of human beings are found there. But no, let him govern the most powerful nation on earth. Yeah, last week, really, want to say flames. And then finally, I want to talk a little bit about Mozambique. Earlier on, I was talking about how Zimbabwe was allowed to oppress its own people in the faces of its neighbors. Without, in broad daylight, without even flinching. Wait. The history is repeating itself in Mozambique. Do you think you'll hear President Ramaphosa say a bad word about what's happening over there? Oh, maybe we haven't had enough people die there yet. But it's clear that what's important to our politicians, particularly these ones who have or wear a mantle of liberation movements, is that as long as there is their friends who are on the bad side of things, they will not say a word. I'm a Israel, but 50 countries, no, Palestina, what? Next door here, people are dying of your ilk. You doing nothing about it. You doing nothing about it. You rather PR Palestina. Yamo next door. Yamo Palla. Yamo Eswatini, where there's a dictator there of a despot. Yakupal. Yamo Zimbabwe, where they jail journalists. Yakupalela.